Welcome back. It's the Candid Camper, and this is Candid Camper's trailer reactions. And today we got a very special get what tones. Am I screaming?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Anyways,
You're
we
good.
got your boy George down there. He's the Italiano. And then we got Tones over here making fun of me every time I try to do this shit. So I don't know what's going on. But we got a good one for today. I'm going to let George kick it off. What are we watching today, George?
Today we're going to be watching the trailer of one of my favorite Martin Scorsese films of all time, and that's 1990's Goodfellas, starring Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro, and the all-time ever so lovable Joe Pesci.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Love it. And then if you could tell us where they find you at, please.
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you could find me on my home base on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner, where I dive into a lot of Walt Disney World, Disney Cruise Line, with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
Hell yeah. All right, Tones, you're up.
Oh, thanks, dude. Let me get my batter's gloves on. Yeah, you guys can find me at... Yeah,
Oh,
but
okay.
we don't talk about that, dude. Sore subject.
We just talk about Bruno on our channel.
But yeah, you guys can find me at Tones_TV on all platforms. Don't forget to follow the podcast that Candid and I do, Bat Dots Podcast. And if you guys want to follow me on YouTube, it'll be Bat Dot Studios, where we dive into trailer reactions and kind of newer stuff. We do movie reactions and breakdowns. Same with TV shows, breakdowns, stuff like that. Bat Dot Studios on YouTube if you're interested.
Sweet.
I'm excited about this, especially since being on here and not reacting to a Godzilla trailer. That's always
I know, right?
It could have been worse. Yeah, no, and Goodfellas is one of those, like right when you said it, I'm like, yeah, that's the one we're doing today for sure. 1990, it seems like it's so far away, but at the same time, not far enough. Ray Liotta, rest in peace, of course, played a big part in this movie. Robert De Niro, like, just classic mobster. Like if it was a mobster film, you had to have him in that. Same with Pesci, and we're missing someone. Who are we missing? Who was another big one in there?
Another big one for me who played Paulie, the great late actor Paul Sorvino.
Yeah.
He was a very good, prolific actor, and a lot of people don't know of his daughter, who is also an actress, Mira Sorvino, who ended up winning an Academy Award for Woody Allen's The Mighty Aphrodite.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I did not know that. Only George would know that. A lot of other people in here that that you'll start seeing around some other mobster movies and some other HBO channel shows that we will probably have to review here on this channel sometime. But yeah, we'll get into it. I think I'm ready. You guys ready?
Let's do this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh yeah, let's do it. I have not seen this, by the way. I've seen the movie, but I have not seen the trailer.
I have not seen the trailer either.
Never rat on your friends, and always keep your mouth shut.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Holy shit.
Hey, Mom, what do you think?
You look like a gangster.
I know I.
By the time I grew up, there was $30 billion a year in cargo moving through Idlewild Airport. Believe me, we tried to steal every bit of it.
What do you do?
I'm in construction.
He's not Jewish.
For most of the guys, killing's got to be
Classic.
accepted.
Hey, Henry, here's an arm. Very funny, guys. Here's a leg. Here's a wing. A leg and a wing.
For us to live any other way was nuts. And we were treated like movie stars with muscle. We had it all just for the asking.
It's gonna be a good summer.
It was a glorious time.
In a world that's powered by violence, on the streets where the violent have power, a new generation carries on an old tradition.
Yeah, it was 3 decades.
I will say that coming from a big Italian family, watching that just makes me feel like a typical Saturday night.
No, for real.
I will say that every time I do watch the anything of Goodfellas, it makes me want to watch the whole movie. I
Oh
absolutely
yeah.
love that movie.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that kind of brings up the next, the next part of it too, is that I thought that was a great trailer. I think it left so much mystery, and it had like those scenes of the classic crime mob that you're like, okay, cool. I know what I'm getting myself into. I still think that it's one of those where you kind of have to feel like watching a mob movie. Like you have to be that kind of. It's a genre of itself, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I think that trailer did its job to someone that is into that stuff to bring them into that theater for sure. So
Absolutely, yeah.
I
Because a
would go
lot of
see it.
times, with movie trailers, the editing can become very choppy. For instance, we've seen that with some of the latest trailers for Star Wars: The Acolyte. For me, the editing on those trailers was very choppy and all over the place. But when you can find a trailer that is very cohesive, that can tell the story and sum it up without spoiling anything and grasp your attention to say, hey, I want to see this in full. And you do all that in like 2 minutes or less, then you have a good movie trailer. And for me, Goodfellas is the trailer at least is just as the movie is. It's top notch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I thought it was great. Like you said, like these kind of like gangster movies is a genre of its own. Like it's a different kind of like mindset you have to be in to like see their side of what. Even though most people think being a gangster is bad, like you have to kind of live in their world throughout the movie. So you have to have that kind of mindset. And this movie does it the best though. Like it's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember how good this movie was. How fun it was.
My all-time favorite scene of that film, and this is just because I'm a film nut. You know, I study film. I study how like directing a movie is. I always wanted to direct a film. I'm still to this day. I'm going to find a way somehow, some way that I will direct a film. But the genius of Martin Scorsese, I love when uh, Ray Liotta is taking his date to the club. And literally they enter through the back door, downstairs, in through the hallways, in through the kitchen, and into the club itself. And they did that basically all in one take.
Yeah.
There was no cut whatsoever.
Yeah,
So
that's solid.
it's like the cohesiveness of like the movement. It was so realistic. And again, there was not a cut. There was nothing. It was just one straight run through. I thought that was perfect. And that's
Yeah.
as I said, as a movie buff, that's my favorite all-time scene.
Oh yeah, and I think stuff like that's genius. And I try to look for things like that in movies too, because it really does make a difference. And there's a lot of other movies. What's the one where they're all in the cabin? Hateful Eight.
Cabin in the Woods. Oh,
No, it was it Hateful Eight or was not?
Oh,
Hateful Eight? What's this?
the you mean the Quentin Tarantino one?
Yeah. What they call?
Yeah,
What was it?
yeah, Hateful Eight.
Wait, so that was filmed in just like I can't remember what size, but like super widescreen, whatever you call it, and it just got the whole cabin the whole time, and I think that was just genius. So little things like that really make a difference to me in a movie, just like Avatar. That's why Avatar was so successful. The way it was filmed, that's ridiculous. Even to this day, it's still crazy. But going back to it, this movie had a budget of $25 million, and it pulled in 47.1 million, which 1990, that's not
yeah, I
bad.
was
It
about to say,
doubled
that's
it.
not bad at all. Yeah.
Especially for a gangster movie, it got its money back. I mean, it's no Godfather like George talked, but it has its place within that realm for sure. Like you wouldn't have that, you like would not have this movie not on your list of mob movies. It'd be up there.
I do want to say though, as much as I like Joe Pesci in this one, my favorite movie of all time with him in it is My Cousin Vinny.
Oh yeah,
That movie,
Oh, absolutely. Come on.
yeah, that movie was honestly, I probably have that in my all-time favorite movies, probably somewhere in my top 10.
wow,
Somewhere in my top 10.
that's
Maybe
a bold step. That's a
it,
bold sentence.
yeah, it can maybe reach the top 8, bro. If I really think about it, it'll probably be my top 8.
We might have to do that one of these times. Top 10 movies of all times.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've learned
Vinny's in it
something
for sure.
something new about you, which I want to bring up now that you brought that up on this channel. While I have everybody here, I am planning on doing a live for this channel, and I want everyone to bring 2 to 3 of their favorite movies from the night. We're gonna start with the '90s, and then we're gonna watch those trailers together and kind of do the same thing we're doing, discussing it. So I think that'd be pretty cool to have as one of our first lives on this channel.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
down. Yeah, absolutely.
So let me ask you boys the last question before we head out. Will this hold? And would it get you into the movie theaters?
Or does it hold up, you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it does. I mean, we like those kind of movies. I'm assuming you guys. I mean, I'm assuming George does because he told us about the trailer. But it's one of those. These movies are iconic. They're. But will it get you in the or would it get you in the movie theaters? Is a whole different question. For me, because I like movies like this, yes. But I can see how movies like this wouldn't lead you to the movies, because you, like I said, you have to be a fan of these kind of films, especially when it comes to Scorsese. Like his is very different from what
they're very complex. They're great films, but as we all mentioned, we love those movies. For a typical normie, know, it's like, and as Candid said earlier, there's a specific genre for like gangster and mobster movies. So I definitely feel like it can hold its own. It definitely can hold up. It definitely would get me into the theater, because every time I watch that trailer, see, now I want to actually go and watch the movie. So it's like, so that answers for the question for me. But yes, the bigger demographic, could it get anybody into the theater? That's where it kind of teeters.
Yep.
And I think this is our first real, well, not controversial trailer, but we can call it that for the sake of the channel. This is the first one where I agree with you guys too. Like, it bring me into the theaters because of what it is, but I think it's gonna be a 25% maybe gap or 25% of people seeing that are going to go, and that's why I think it only did 41,000 or 45,000, however much it was. Now, if you were to thank you. If you were to bring that out now and redo it, I think it would do way better in this day and age than it did then in the 90s, even though that was a big thing in the 90s, which gangster movies and stuff. But I just think now we're more tailored to seeing stuff like that. I think it's just a different time. But yeah, no, so I think it holds up in my household. I just don't think it holds up as far as the movie goes and getting me to the theater.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, boys, we're gonna wrap it up there. Once again, this is the Candid Camper, and this is the Candid Camper's reaction trailers. And I appreciate y'all. Have a good day. Peace.